Hi. I'm here finally. I'm saying words. Um, I turned down the music quite a bit. Oh, there's my voice. Here, if I do this, I need to test audio. That's a thing I always need to do that I'm not prepared to do, like, at any time ever. So, give me a second while I do that, because that's a thing I gotta do. I think I'm trying to get it so you can hear the music in the background, but it's not too loud, and it's not too quiet. So, also, hi. I'm finally doing the things that I said I was going to do today. Actually, I said I was going to do it yesterday, and then long story, didn't. So now audio seems to be pretty good. If there are any changes in the audio, or if someone wants me to change something in the audio, like if I'm too loud, the music's too quiet, or both, or something like that, just let me know, because I'm not going to know too much. But now, I think a new song just started. I don't know. I had my headphones off. I'm going to do this. Oh, ooh. Did it actually transition this time? Because last time it didn't, and that made me sad. So, well, I think it did. I think it actually did for once. All right, we're here. So I'm writing a short story. It's for school. It's like a just like a normal contest. Like, not like I have to write a short story for school, because my school's like over for the semester. But I mean, like, there's still a contest open, so I'm writing the short story for a contest, and my word limit is up here. It's 1,200 words. So far I only have 1/4 of that, so I think we'll be pretty good. This short story is based off an idea that I've had for a long time in my head that I kind of played around with, and have written different kind of versions of. But this is me also writing a new version. So you can see there's about a full page of writing here that I've already done already, which I'll go ahead and read out in just a second and kind of explain and where the story is going. And then I'm just going to kind of get into it. Just going to kind of start doing those typity types. Now, the bad thing about the typity types is that you're probably here. Let's go down to the bottom. I'm assuming that's picking up on the microphone, because my microphone is on my desk. So you'll probably be hearing a bit of the typey types, and I'm sorry about that. I can mute my mic every now and again, and that will what's the word I'm looking for? That'll take out you hearing the typey types. But then again, if I see something in chat and I try and read it out and my mic's muted, well, then that's obviously not that smart. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read this out for you. So it's called. I'm not decided on which title yet, because it was originally called The Laughter, like way back when, like a couple years ago, like at 4-ish, and then I recently became Don't Listen, and that was part of a larger story. But this obviously is just a short story, so I'm not exactly sure where to go with it yet. So we'll just kind of see. But I'm gonna go ahead and read the story now. So. Her eyes broke open, yet she could see nothing. However, sight was not necessary to notice she was already standing up, which she deemed odd. Her attention was quickly whisked away as the first of small rain droplets fell on her face, sending a cold shock to every nerve in her body. As she tilted her head up to the source of the rain, lightning cracked the night sky, illuminating her surroundings for a fraction of a second. She caught a glimpse of dark treetops surrounding her. A forest. Great, secluded secluded woods, and a lack of memory. Seems perfectly fine. She joked to herself to hide how she really felt. As she waited for the thunder, she took in several shallow breaths, hugging herself for warmth. A cold wind picked up and she shuddered. I'm sorry, this music came in the background like really hard, and I'm like, A cold wind picked up and she shuddered. She looked up to the moon for guidance, but none came. She took the first weary step, unknowing of what awaited her. The answer was only a soft crunch of the leaves beneath her feet. And perhaps something else. Could it be she heard another sound in the darkness surrounding her? She tried to brush it off as a panicked imagination running rampant, but even so, she listened closely as she took her next step. There didn't seem to be anything with her, but her survival instincts kicked in. She tried to take soft steps so that she could listen to everything around her. She heard only what might be another set of footsteps, or maybe it was her own echoing. Actually, this should be that. There should be a comma there. She now began to hear faint sounds of the forest, birds tweeting at an inconvenient time, the chirping of crickets slowly fading in, becoming louder with each section. Pretty sure that's supposed to be second. Could be wrong. This is pretty story. There we go. The sound of what she had hoped was an owl, and stopped. What? I'm guessing that's supposed to be had. I wrote a little bit late last night, so that's probably why this is full of some mistakes. The sound of what she had hoped was an owl had stopped her dead in her tracks. Her heart was beating out of her chest, but even so, she held her breath as to attempt to listen to her surroundings. What about in an attempt? Yes, that's more words, but that's a thing people actually say. Actually, no, it's not in an attempt. Why is this weird? Why is it being weird? That's grammatically correct. Why are you being weird? It's both saying like, what? You see this? This doesn't make sense. She held her breath in an attempt to... Okay, what if I just... There we go. No idea why I did that. Also, this suggestion just doesn't make sense. She heard only what another set of footsteps might be. Like, technically that makes sense grammatically, but not for the story. So I'm just gonna, like, ignore word suggestion. Like, no, shut up. I don't care about you. You're wrong. So, this is what I've got so far. And the, as in a maybe. What? What? No, I don't want to do that. Stop. It's like, here's a way to shorten it, and I'm like, yeah, sure, but no. So the premise of as the story goes on, this girl gets scared in the woods. She starts running. She falls down. She hears what she describes as laughter, like a lot of laughter all around her, surrounding her. And it's like really overwhelming, and she's like, she fell while running, so she's like cut up and bruised and stuff like that, and she like starts crying. Basically, the world shattered around her as like glass. That's like how I wrote it back 4 years ago or something like that. And she's just kind of in this like empty black negative space void, and she's just all alone in her thoughts, not hearing anything. But she sees a set of silver eyes in the distance. And then feels a hand rest upon her shoulder, where she jolts forward, and she, quote-unquote, wakes up, and she's, like, in her bedroom, and she's, like, panting and breathing, like, really heavily. She's like, oh my god, is everything a dream? Like, what just happened? Am I okay? Like, what's going on? But she calms herself down, and she starts to get back into a rhythm and rest, and then she hears faint laughter, and the door slowly opens. So, I mean, it's kind of, the whole thing's kind of cliche, but it's also not bad. So, as we write this, hopefully it'll make more sense and actually sound better than it does currently. I'm not entirely sure how much time I have to write for this live stream. I know I have to finish it by tonight, but I'll probably cut it around, like, 1-ish. I don't know. Well, actually, okay, let me explain. About 2.5 hours from now. Because I realize that time zones are different for everyone. So, 2.5 hours-ish. But also, in between that, I'm going to need to get up and go do things sometimes. Like, I still, like, just some short pauses. So sorry about that. Also, I tried to... that is not a bad idea, actually, to give a description of the girl, kind of, like, introduce her in this story. So that you not necessarily resonate with the character, but you can understand. I don't know if that makes sense. But I have to find a way to do that doesn't sound. It doesn't sound too like I'm trying to introduce the character. Like I don't want to be. Her name was Nora. She wore a green jacket. Like no. But that's not a bad idea at all, so thank you for that quote-unquote suggestion. I don't know if that's the right word to say, and I don't know exactly why I say quote-unquote. So, also, short note, I tried to record Earthbound earlier this morning, and OBS was like, no, so that was nice, except that it wasn't. I need to post it on the 23rd, which is Monday, so I have, like, not that long to record it and edit it, so I hope I figure something out for that. But we're gonna start on the story now. I know it's been, like, 15 minutes or something and I haven't even started. and then I'm gonna have to get up in like a minute and go do something. But let's just calm down and get this done. Like, not in a bad way, but I'm going to. I was thinking about muting my mic, but I don't know. I don't know if I should or would. I don't know. I don't really like this line. Like, it's to set up the fact that this doesn't make sense and that she's dreaming. Like, however, sight was not necessary to know she was already standing up. Like, if she just woke up, like, wouldn't you would think she'd be laying down or something, or hunched over, like, with her back to a tree or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do here. So, I do want to here. What if I just kind of, let's do a character description. Let's do something that's not part of the story, but details that we can kind of work into the story. So, I'm pretty sure I want this girl's name to be oh great, it's not going to be Times New Roman. For some reason, whenever I'm writing stuff, I actually really like Times New Roman. What is this music? My current thought process. I kind of want her to be me, but not me. Also, my school doesn't know me, so it says this up here, but that's not what I'll be submitting it as. So that's quote-unquote. I should stop saying quote-unquote. I said it like 4 times. That's nice, she said sarcastically. Alright, Nora 16. So not exactly me, but I mean, like, the personality is me. Like, honestly, this is something I would say in a dream. This is something I'd say in real life. Like, a forest, great, secluded woods, and a lack of memory. Seems perfectly fine. Brown hair. Okay, yeah, brown hair, green eyes. Ooh, this is nice. This is nice music. She also has a green jacket. Is it a hoodie? Do we make it a hoodie? I feel like if we make it a hoodie, we have a potential for a setup there while she's running to kind of describe the hoodie flapping. Unzipped with a white shirt underneath. Rich blue jeans. Not like she's rich, but the color is rich. Blue jeans, slightly I don't know. Why do I feel like I've written an amino bio? I can't. Descriptions are not difficult, but writing stuff out like this is like, Like, I'd rather just get into the story. And you know what? That's something I should do. I was talking about it yesterday. Why did I need to? Whatever. There was Monica's writing tip of the day. I keep wanting to say that today's Thursday, but it's not Friday. Today's Friday. So on Wednesday, that was like, just keep writing. Don't let your pen blot. So I guess I just kind of have to do that. So this is kind of like the character description. Now I have to find a way to kind of put these details in. So I think I need to just get rid of that line because it sets up something in the end, but it's not worth it right now. So she looked all around but could barely see her own hands in front of her. She tried to get a bearing, of her surroundings. Ugh, that's not how you spell things. Also, I have a bad habit of not letting Word work for me. Like, it has, like, autocorrect and all that stuff in it, but I just have a habit of doing it myself. She tried to get up a bearing. She tried to bearing. Also, I skip words a lot, so I need to read through this, like, 4 times to make sure I actually write everything I mean to write, or else I'm just stupid. So, she tried to get a bearing of her surroundings. All she knew at this moment, was that she was sitting down, leaned against something hard, something solid. There we go. That's better than hard. That she's leaning against something solid, and that it was cold. That was chillingly. I'm gonna have to workshop that. Her attention was quickly whisked away. Not only did she try to understand her placements. It's a kind of weird sentence that no one usually uses. She attempted to realize herself. That doesn't. It makes sense in my head, but it doesn't make sense out loud. Not only did she try to take in her surroundings, she attempted, yeah, I feel like I've used tried too many times, attempted to take in herself. No, I don't like that. I can't think of the words I want to use. Yikes. This is not good. This is bad hours. She attempted to take notice of herself. I think I like that. Herself. She seemed to be alright. Seemed to be alright. No injury of any kind she could tell. There we go. I like this. Ugh, that's not right. No injury of any kind she could tell. She felt I don't know the right way to describe this. I'm trying to describe the hoodie, but I'm thinking, like, how do you... I don't want to say she knows she was wearing a hoodie, because that's stupid. She felt that she was wearing a hoodie. She was wearing a hoodie and knew that it was hers. I hope this is not necessarily, I don't think entertaining is the word I want to use, but I hope it's okay to watch, and also like the music's calm and nice and everything's going good. I hope. Intuition and the way it felt on her body. Actually, let's... Here. Stop that. By the way it felt on her body, she could tell She was wearing her hoodie. Oh, here. Had her sights adjusted to the darkness. Yeah, she'd. I also don't want to give too much of a description that's unnecessary in this. Like, yes, I need to describe the girl, but I was like just about to describe this, the color of the sweater. Like, I don't need to. Like, who cares, right? Let's kind of rework this line here. Let's copy and paste it. Right here. Or, right there. Wait, no, this is the sentence that I just took. Alright, so a Coleman picked up but she shuddered. She felt it. I wanted to describe the wind as prickly, and I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's icy texture? No. She felt it. Okay, let's just rework it later. She felt the breeze. Let's go with breeze on her face and on her legs as well. Her jeans were ripped. The only potential sign of anything being wrong. There we go. Wrong. She thought to herself. Her attention quickly whisked away as first a small raindrop was on her face and then a cold shock to every nerve in her body. Alright, so let's read it now. Very quickly, as I usually read anyway. Her eyes broke open, yet she could see nothing. She looked all around, but she could barely see. But she... What? She looked all around, but could be see... What? Her eyes broke open, yet she could see nothing. She looked all around. Could barely see her own hands in front of her. She tried to get a bearing of her. Not only did she try to take in her surroundings, she attempted to... Okay. After trying... Let's... After trying... That's not how you spell after. After trying to take in her surroundings, she attempted to take notice of herself. There we go. That seems better than what I wrote before. She seemed to be alright. No injury of any kind she could tell. By the way it felt on her body, she could tell she was wearing her hoodie. A cold wind picked up and she shuddered. She felt the breeze on her face. Neck is a good thing. Her legs as well. Her jeans were ripped. The only potential sign of anything being wrong, she thought to herself. Her attention was quickly whisked away as the first of small raindrops fell on her face, sending cold shock to every nerve in her body. As she tilted her head up to the source of the rain, lightning cracked the sky, illuminating her surroundings for a fraction of a second. She caught a glimpse of dark tree tops surrounding her, forest, great secluded woods, and a lack of memory. Seemed perfectly fine, she joked to herself. As a distraction, I think is what I like better. As a distraction. Wait, why did I capitalize as? I have no idea. Because I'm not smart. Wait, I did it twice. As she waited for the thunder, she took in... She doctored herself as a distraction, and she waited. But that's as, and I'm like, that's redundant. Don't need it. So, waiting. How about waiting for the thunder? Waiting for the thunder, she took in several shallow breaths, hugging herself for warmth. She looked at the moon for guidance, but none came. She took the very first weary step, unknowing of what awaited her. The answer was only a soft crunch of leaves. Don't need the right there. Of leaves beneath her feet. Perhaps something else could have been. She heard another sound in the darkness around her. Ugh. I don't like the way that reads. It's too on the nose. And perhaps something else could have been. She heard another sound of the darkness around her. That's too writer. That's too on the nose. Like, ugh. I can't figure out what I want to say. This is soft scratch of leaves beneath your feet. All right, here we go. She took another step. Let's do this. She took another step. No, I keep saying she took another, like a she. Like every sentence starts with she almost. I need to stop. Taking another step. She thought. Impossible. She heard something. There we go. Something else out there with her. I want to go back and see every time that I write she as the first sentence, as the first word in the sentence. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the first paragraph. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See, it's literally each sentence. It's like, that's something people don't think about when they're writing, and I honestly didn't think about until like right now, is how often you start a sentence the same way. And this is terrible. This is actually terrible. It's she every sentence. Like, not that I can't use she in the sentence, but starting every sentence off with she just becomes so redundant. Her eyes broke open, yet she could see nothing. Her eyes darted. Okay, her eyes... Okay. I think I like how this reads better. Her eyes darted all around, trying to grasp onto something. But she could... She tried to get a bearing of her surroundings. However, all she could tell at this moment was that she was sitting down, leaning against something solid, and then it was chillingly cold, maybe like shockingly, maybe like piercingly piercing. I think I like piercing. Sometimes you just need to say something out loud to yourself until you hit the right one. Like, you need to repeat it. It's like Wheel of Fortune in the last round. The person is, is kind of just supposed to, like, throw out what he thinks it is, like, multiple times. Like, not the same thing, obviously. I just touched the mic, sorry about that. But, like, the same premise. So it's like, fishing trip, hunting trip, like, whatever. But you have to just kind of figure out the right words. So it was, like, chillingly cold, and I was like, I don't like chillingly. Like, shockingly, like, and I come up recently, like you obviously just saw a couple seconds ago. So sometimes stuff like that that helps. I'm trying to give writing tips, I think, is what's going on here while I'm writing, and also kind of describe my thought process. So, sorry if that's not something you enjoy. Also, I am going to go check on something in a minute, but I want to make sure I have this first paragraph done in the way I like it. Her eyes broke open, yet she could see nothing. Her eyes darted all around, trying to grasp onto something, but she could barely see her own I always want to say friends, hands in front of her. She tried to get a bearing of her surroundings. However, all she could tell at this moment was that she was sitting down, leaned against something solid, and that I don't need to. This is too descriptive for something that doesn't have a payoff. Like, it doesn't say she was leaning against a tree, like, ever, so. That she was sitting down and that it was piercingly cold. Also, it makes this sentence too long. So, after trying to take in her surroundings, she took... Was that what happened there? Oh, yeah, don't like that. And that it was piercingly cold. After trying to take it around, she attempted to take notice of herself. No injury of any kind she could tell. She seemed to be alright. Sometimes a simple change of the way sentences are structured, like that. So, no injury of any kind she could tell. She seemed... Okay, so I was just about to say a writing tip, and then I realized in that same moment that there's another opportunity here. Sometimes you just need to rearrange the way you have things, and then see if it makes sense that way. And if it doesn't make sense that way, see if it makes sense the way it already was. And if it doesn't make sense then cut it out. Like, yes, this technically makes sense in words, but it doesn't really add that much to anything at all. So, I just took out those sentences. So after trying to take in her surroundings, she attempted to take notice of herself. No injury of any kind she could tell. By the way it felt on her body, she could tell she... I still say she a lot, and it's kind of annoying. No injury of any kind she could tell. By the way it fell on her body, she could tell. No. That's also another thing. Like, redundancy doesn't always have to happen in the same sentence. Like, sometimes it happens in the sentence. Or actually, paragraph to paragraph is also another one. But sometimes you just have to find workarounds. No injury of any kind she could tell. By the way it fell on her body, she knew she was wearing her hoodie. A cold wind picked up and she shuddered. Feeling the breeze... No, she felt the... No, I can't make that one work, because that one's fine as she. The only potential sign of anything being wrong, she thought to herself. Her attention was completely whisked away as she tilted her head up to the source of the light. The sky... Catching... Okay, here. This one can work. Catching a glimpse of the dark tree trunks around her... She joked to her. She joked. As a distraction from the frightening situation. There we go. Finally got that away in a way that I like. So. Catching a glimpse of the dark tree tops surrounding her, she joked, "Of course, great, secluded woods and a lack of memory. Seems perfectly fine, as a distraction from the frightening situation." Waiting for the thunder, she took in... Waiting for the thunder... Crash in her ears... Or that's eyes. Ugh. That's too easy. Waiting for the thunder to crash in her ears. Waiting for the thunder's crash to fill her ears. There we go. Waiting for the thunder's crash to fill her ears, she took in several shallow breaths, hugging herself for warmth. She looked up to the moon for guidance, but none came. There we go. That's good. I'm okay with that. So, I'm gonna leave the thing like this for now. I'm gonna go do something. I'll be back in just a minute or two. Okay? I'll leave the music going, so you'll have that. Okay, I'm back. Back in black. I just realized something while I was out. These count towards the words. So that's technically 19 words I got here. Basically 20 words, let's just round up. Which doesn't count much and will be fine. But I just need to keep that into account. Like if I get to if I get close to 1,200, I need to be like, oh yeah, it's okay. Can you see it down here? I actually don't know. You can see the word count. I think you can. I think you barely can. That's not what I meant to do. Here we go. So, this first... paragraph is pretty chunky, and then this second paragraph is like, not as thick. So there's like, not that I want to keep every paragraph like the same amount of lines, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Whereas this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah. She took the first weary step of knowing of what awaited her. The answer was only a soft crunch of leaves beneath her feet. Taking another step, she thought it possible she heard something else out there with her. She tried to brush it off as a panicked imagination, running rampant, but even so, she listened closely as she took her next step. There didn't seem to be anything with her, but her survival... But even so, oh, why did that happen? Uh-oh, yes, still watching. Wait, why did it, what just happened there? Have we been streaming for, I guess we have. That was kind of strange, don't know exactly why that did that. Here, sorry about that. Is that too loud? Seems like it's too loud. Also, why'd you start halfway through it? Here we go. I think that's about right. I think that should be about the same level it was before. So. Okay. Taking another step, she thought it possible. She heard something else out there with her. She tried to brush it off as a panicked imagination running rampant, but even so, she listened closely as she took her next step. There didn't seem to be anything with her, but her survival instincts kicked in. She tried to take soft steps so that she could listen to everything around her. There didn't seem to be any other... Okay. There didn't seem to be any... Or, that's a space. That means a space. Any other noises hidden within ones she was making. Let's have a break here. Not that we need it, just to separate the ideas. So there didn't seem to be any other noises hidden within the ones she was making. The next few steps she would take would be soft and slow. So that she could tune in to the noises of the woods. She heard among the various nightlife noises, such as do crickets chirp? Is that chirp? Such as chirping crickets and birds tweeting. I'm not sure if there are that many species of birds that tweet at night, but even so, it doesn't really matter since it's in her head. Among the various nightlife noises such as chirping crickets and birds tweeting, she also heard what she hoped was the echo of her own footsteps. So this takes this, it shortens kind of what this says, but also makes it a little bit better, I think. Could be wrong. This done for quite some time. With not too many more noises being added. Well, no, this went on for quite some time. The wind beginning to pick up and become colder. Took in breaths and regulated warmth. She didn't know how much longer she'd be in this forest, or I don't know why it's forced to 2 hours, or if she'd get out. She didn't know how much longer she'd be in this forest, or if this was all a trap. She tilted her head. No, she kept her head on a swivel. Kept her head on a swivel in case she could pick up any hints on her current situation. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, almost 13. So now we got, she took a first worry step and knowing what awaited her. The answer was only a soft crunch of leaves beneath her feet. Taking into account, she thought it possible she heard something else out there with her. She tried to brush it off as a panicked imagination running rampant, but even so, she listened closely as she took her step. There didn't seem to be any other noises hidden within the ones she was making. The next few steps she would take would be soft and slow so that she could tune in to the noises of the woods. Among the various nightlife noises such as chirping crickets and birds tweeting, she also heard what she had hoped was the echo of her own footsteps. This went on for quite some time, the wind beginning to pick up and become colder. She took in deep breaths and regulated her warmth, but she didn't know how much longer she'd be in this forest or if this was all a trap. She kept her head on a swivel in case she could pick up any hints on her current situation. The sound of what she had hoped was an owl stopped her dead in her tracks. I think that's a good first 2 paragraphs. Good first, basically 1/3 of the story. Well, more than 1/3, but we're getting to where it's gonna ramp up from here and kind of be like one thought after another thought after another thought. Her heart was beating out of her chest, but even so, she held in her breath in an attempt to listen to her surroundings. Okay, whatever. Her heart was beating out of her chest, but even so, she held her breath to listen to her surroundings. So obviously this girl's also smart. I didn't like mention that, but she's smart. She's knows kind of how to survive, but not like, you know, Bear Grylls. Her heart was beating out of her chest, but even so, she held her breath to listen to her surroundings. Twigs. Ooh, I love this song. Is this the one I think it is? Yeah. This song is so good. It's Data Drive Hellrider. It's so good. Why? I don't even have that here. How sad of me. Actually, why don't we just have this one here? Let's I have an idea now. I have an idea. Data Drive Hellrider. Here, give me a second while I work on this idea. Alright, we're gonna go with this. I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit because I think it's too loud now. Could be wrong. Let's check. Yeah, I think that's gonna be like way too loud compared to my voice. Whoopsie. But now that I've turned it down, so this should be good. Yeah, I think this works. I've got a playlist made out of this song and one other song. And then also I've got a couple lined up in the running, so once these songs are done, then I'll listen to a couple other ones to see if I like them. But I'm going for like a dark wave. It's dark synth, is that what it's called? Dark synth aesthetic right now. Cause like this is a spooky story. It's like spooky and scary, and it's literally about to get spookier. So let's go. Heart was beating out her chest, but even so, she held her breath to listen to her surroundings. Twigs snapped in the distance. It's as her head did. And Twigs snapped in the distance as her head did, in the direction of the sound. That's how you write. You just type, and you make the things. As her head did in the direction. Twigs snapped in the distance as her head did in the direction of the noise. Disruption. I think I like Disruption better. It's a little more sophisticated, spooky. As her head did in the direction of the disruption, her eyes widened. Oh, lightning continued to flash, and the thunder made it harder to hear. Here we go. Her eyes widened, though the only time she could see anything was when I don't know what I was thinking with what was when the lightning flashed. Her heart was beating out of her chest, but even so, she held her breath to listen to her surroundings. Twig snapped in the distance as her head did in the direction of disruption. Her eyes widened, though the only time she could see anything was when the lightning flashed. Why am I getting 14 notifications on my phone right now? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Yikes. Alright, though the only time she could see anything was when the lightning flashed. She turned around in circles as different noises, more branches breaking, branches breaking, bushes rustling, and a soft but aggressive, a quiet but aggressive, there we go, quiet but aggressive chirping, or chittering, actually, seemed to surround her from all directions, quickly moving one way and then another, as if taunting her. Realizing that that being enclosed realizing that seemingly I can't think of the words that I want to say. Realizing the grave danger, realizing the grave situation, the grave danger of the situation. Whether or not it's a pack of wild animals, hunters, or possibly the ones who had brought her here. She began to run. She knew that it was... Knowing that it was risky without her sight, she held out her arms in front of her. Okay. So that's the end of those two songs. So let's listen to this one. Okay. Not bad. I can dig it. Okay. Oh, this is Zombie Hyperdrive Red Eyes. Okay. Anyway, she began to run, knowing that it was risky without her sight. She held her arms in front of her. No, the noises followed her and grew louder. Each of her footsteps crashing against the earth. I like where this is going. The chittering seemed to become some unearthly sound she had never heard before. A mix of a sound she had never heard before. A mix of some animalistic growling and human laughter. Actually, growing louder. Growing louder. Some animalistic growling. Alright, she rushed through the forest as fear filled her veins. Crackling through every nerve like a shock. Her feet picked up her picked up her feet. Her pace a... Ooh, this is good music for this moment. Raised dash. Freezing air whipped at her face as she ran against it. Sudden bursts of lights that sudden burst of illumination. I actually really liked that song. That was really perfect for that moment of like riding the running chase. Like I feel like that was perfect. Maybe it's just me. I'm definitely liking that video. Now I'm putting on the next song, hoping it's also pretty good. Should be. It seems to be all right so far. Let's see if there are any other kind of... Ooh, that's kind of weird, but I like it. Nope, don't like it anymore. It got weird. It got weird real quick. Well, I guess we're just going with... I'm going to put this one in my watch later. So maybe I can use it in the future. But, yeah, okay, now that we have this, I'm going to go to this. Okay, so now we have a playlist of 3 songs. So it's just going to be these 3 songs on loop, but they're good songs. So hopefully y'all are okay with that. The sudden burst of illumination that the lightning brought now revealed something moving just beyond the trees to both of her sides. They also gave way to the path she should take, sometimes having just a moment to miss running face first into a tree or an outstretched branch. Here's as she kept running, her heart pounded harder, fear ever increasing. Ooh, I like this. Fear ever increasing. Tears formed in her eyes, but were quickly whisked away. The pure speed she was running at. I'm scared because I only have 500 more words and I'm like, I mean, I'm sure I can do it, but man, this took a turn and it went like, I'm really into this now. Alright, anyway, just forms her eyes quickly. Through the maze of God, I was on a roll, and then I lost it, and I feel like it's because of this darn song. Like, does it get better? Here. There we go. You have to wait a while for it to build up, but it gets there. Through the obstacle course this forest was putting her through, she had done well, fairly well. Only tripping up a small handful of times until she leaped over a large fallen, not stump, not trunk. Let's go with trunk. Trunk of a tree? Trunk of a tree! Does that work? Fallen trunk? I think that works. She leaped over a large fallen trunk. Her feet failed to restore her to an upright position, and she doubled over, rolling a number of times through the dirty, through the dangerous woodland ground. Alright, I'm tripping up a small handful of times. She'd only... She had... I know I don't like saying that. She only tripped up a small handful of times until she leaped over a large fallen trunk. Her feet failed to restore her to an upright position. She doubled over, rolling several times through the dangerous woodland ground. 400 words. I have 400 words to finish this. I've gotten through 2/3 of my words, and I haven't even got to the big punchline. She sitting in shock. That was weird, Brad. That escaped my lungs. Sitting in shock, the rustling sounds died down around her. Ooh. Oh god, I love the song so much. But this song, by the way, is called Zombie Hyperdrive Red Eyes. Such a good song. Sitting in shock, the rustling sounds died down around her, but I don't even really care about this song anymore. Like, let's forget it. Sitting in shock, the rustling sounds died down around her, but the laughter-like sound only grew louder. She closed her eyes and curled up into a ball. Oh, aching. She sat there. She ate her worn down body. Could tell she had several bruises, scrapes, and most likely dislocated her shoulder when she tumbled over and landed on it. Alright, so I might have to do some reworking of the beginning portion just to kind of cut down on too much unnecessary details, because as you can see here, I'm running out of words. So we'll have to see, because we're getting to the part where the world shone around her like glass. I keep saying that because that was the analogy I used in the original version many years ago. I don't know why I went with this analogy, but it just happened. Letting the overly sound of laughter consume. I don't know if I like some in this case because I want to use it here because it's like actually those trees seem to swallow her up. So swallowing. I said that and then I was like, oh, I can just make that work. Her in their grasp. Once again. She opened her eyes. A tease of sight as the sun came up. Couldn't last forever. She opened her eyes, and the tease connection to the outside world. Suddenly, the world seemed to break around her like glass. Here we go, finally. Glass. Light. Space. Void. All noises after all noises cut off. Only soft breeze of cold wind could be felt or heard. She no longer felt body aching, but less could not move. Ow. I just put a muscle on my neck. She climbed to her knees, and that's not how you spell knees, and to open her eyes. The tease of sight as the sun came up couldn't last forever. Alright, but nonetheless couldn't move. How mean would it be if I teased you with a sort of ending, but didn't actually do the ending on stream? How mean? No, I'm gonna do it. She no longer felt her body aching, but nonetheless could not move. Yikes. I'm trying to think of how I want to set this up here. She down to where she thought her hands would be, but could not see even them, or part of self. She turned she heard a singular, strange click. There in the distance. Hold on, my computer's buzzing. Or it was. It does it sometimes, it's kind of annoying. There in the distance, something stared back at her. She could only gaze into its silver eyes. There was nothing else to be seen. They loomed, never getting closer, never blinking. Suddenly, the sense of touch she had just have to smack my computer every now and again, don't mind it. They loomed, never getting closer, never blinking. Suddenly the person's touch she had came back on her shoulder. A hand resting on her shoulder. The laughing suddenly warmed back in. She used every ounce of strength in an attempt to turn her body. It's time to delete all of this because I know what's going on here. So, well, that's not what I meant. Tab. There we go. 100 and see, I've got a whole 100 more words to turn our body. She did, or as she did. As she did, she saw nothing. In a moment, the blink of an eye, she saw nothing. The laughter stopped, and she lurched forward. Now she could with long, bony fingers. Now she could see she was laying in bed. She was sweating quite a bit and breathing so heavily. She choked the air for a moment as the familiar sights of her room came back to her, and to calm her down, she leaned back into her pillow, staring up at the ceiling. Had it all been a dream? Had her own mind's subconscious come up with her own worst nightmare? Prison. Oh, had her own mind made her a prisoner within it? A soft creak jolted her forward once more. Long, black, bony fingers wrapped themselves around her door, opening it slowly from the outside. And then the laughter. There we go. That's how it ends. And then the laughter. So I have to figure out how to erase 17 words, or actually 19 words, because I need to. Then the laughter came. All right, so let's read this back once more and figure out a way to. I don't need that. I also wouldn't mind having this be like, okay, maybe if I do 11, I can find a way to make this work. Or Control A. Control A. Turn it down to 11. I want to make it a page break. So this might work. Like if we do here. Well, line 1, line 2, line 3. Does line 3 make it a page break? No. What if the title is bigger? The laughter. So it's gonna be called The Laughter, not Don't Listen, but laughter. Oh, laughter. To find a way to somehow what if we did double spacing? Yeah, actually, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna do this. I think we're going to 1, 2. Actually, I can't deal with 11. I know it's such a stupid thing, but I can't deal with it right now. I've got to make it 12. Alright, I'll figure out a way. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, so this has 2. That has 2. That is 2. I'm just gonna go through this whole thing and just give every single one 2 spaces. I mean, it's fair. It's a fair tactic. People do this all the time to make more pages. I'm not trying to do it to make more pages. I don't have a page limit. I just want a break. Like, you'll understand. You'll understand. Here, I can also... Oh, okay, it doesn't want me to do that. There we go. So, I mean, it is actually doing something, alright? I'm not crazy. There's a couple of lines that I've seen already, just kind of... I'm trying really hard. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. There's so many more. Yikes. Okay, well, I have to just keep trying, so... Oh, footsteps, lightning... This went on for quite some time... Why does this one already look like it has 2? Well, it does. That's the reason why. Is that where I decided I was going to do 2? Maybe. Twig snapped around her. Her eyes widened. Well, guess I can't do that one. And I guess I probably can't do that one either. Earth, sharing. Haha. Here's what? I thought for sure that was gonna give me a new line. Darn. Well. Bruises the she closed. Pouts on her room to shreds, but that never happened. Sound of laughter only continued to grow louder, so loud that it became a white noise. The background sound on the soundtrack of her final moments. She climbed to her knees. Yeah, I also don't need this. Climb to her knees and open her eyes. I love that it's literally one thing before the word limit. I love that. She was left in an empty space. All noises were cut off. She felt she no longer. Blah blah blah. Oh, come on. Yeah. Alright, so what if we do all of this as 13? I guess I can't. What about 14? No, so let's try 13, because I feel like 13 is such an on-the-nose number for this that oh, yes! Ha 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 ha! Got it! Yeah! Look at that! And then laughter came. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's so great. I'm glad. Oh, that makes me happy. That makes me happy. Okay, I just need to check. I'm gonna save it. Actually, I'm gonna file. Well, no, I'll do that afterwards. I'll do that in just a minute, basically. I'm gonna end the stream here. Basically, I gotta check something else real quick. So, while I check this, and as this song plays nicely in the background, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. So we've been streaming for a while. Actually, I'll go ahead and one story. Maximum. Okay, that's just self-destructive behavior. Send a short story. Web Mrs. Field. Okay, Word document attached to a web file. Entries. Yeah. I'm ready. I am so ready for this. This is great. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna do this afterwards. So I'm sorry. I'll go back to what it was. So let's read it. Let's read it once more. So her eyes broke open, yet she could see nothing. Her eyes darted all around, trying to grasp onto something, but she could barely see her own hand. Oh my God! Every time. I'm gonna get it in one take. I promise. Her eyes broke open, yet she could see nothing. Her eyes darted all around, trying to grasp onto something, but she could barely see her own hands in front of her. She tried to get a bearing of her surroundings. However, all she could tell at this moment was that she was sitting down, and that it was piercingly cold. After trying to take in her surroundings, she attempted to take notice of herself. No injury of any kind she could tell. By the way it felt on her body, she knew she was wearing her hoodie. A cold wind picked up and she shuddered. She felt the breeze on her face, neck, and on her legs as well. Her jeans were ripped. The only potential sign of anything being wrong, she thought to herself. Her attention was quickly whisked away as the first of small rain droplets fell on her face. As she tilted her head up to the source of the rain, lightning cracked the night sky, illuminating her surroundings for a fraction of a second. Catching a glimpse of the dark treetops surrounding her, she joked, "A forest. Great. Secluded woods, I can't say that. Secluded woods and a lack of memory. Seems perfectly fine to me." As a distraction from the frightening situation. Waiting for the thunder's crash to fill her ears, she took in several shallow breaths, hugging herself for warmth. She looked up to the moon for guidance, but none came. She took the first weary step, unknowing of what awaited her. The answer was only a soft crunch of leaves beneath her feet. Taking another step, she thought it possible she heard something else out there with her. She tried to brush it off as a panicked imagination running rampant. But even so, she listened closely as she took her next step. There didn't seem to be any other noises hidden within the ones she was making. The next few steps she would take would be soft and slow, so that she could tune in to the noises of the woods. Among the various nightlife noises, such as chirping crickets and birds tweeting, she also heard what she hoped was the echo of her own footsteps. Lightning continued to flash, and the thunder made it harder to hear. This went on for quite some time, the wind beginning to pick up and become colder. She took in deep breaths and regulated her warmth, but she didn't know how much longer she'd be in this forest, or if this was all a trap. She kept her head on a swivel in case she could pick up any hints on her current situation. The sound of what she had hoped was an owl stopped her dead in her tracks. Her heart was beating out of her chest, but even so she held her breath to listen to her surroundings. Twigs snapped in the distance, as her head did, in the direction of the disruption. Her eyes widened, though the only time she could see anything was when the lightning flashed. She turned around in circles. I think that might be 3. Yeah, let's 1, 2, 3. Still 3. I just want to make sure that I still have them. Okay. Her eyes widened. The only time she could see anything was when the lightning flashed. She turned around in circles as different noises, more branches breaking, bushes rustling, and a quiet but aggressive chittering seemed to surround her from all directions. Quickly, wait, does that mess up the... No, okay. Seemed to surround her from all directions, quickly moving one way and then another, as if taunting her. Realizing the grave danger of the situation, whether it was a pack of wild animals, hunters, or possibly the ones who had brought her here, she began to run. The noises followed her, growing louder with each of her footsteps crashing against the earth. The chittering seemed to become some unearthly sound she had never heard before, a mix of some animalistic growling and human laughter. She rushed through the forest as fear filled her veins. Crackling through her every nerve like a shock, her pace quickened to a crazed dash. The freezing air whipped at her face as she ran against it. The sudden burst of illumination that the lightning brought now revealed something moving just beyond the trees to both of her sides. They also gave way to the path she had to take, sometimes having just a moment to miss running face first into a tree or an outstretched branch. As she kept running, her heart pounded faster, fear ever increasing. Tears formed in her eyes were quickly whisked away by the pure speed she was running at. Through the obstacle course this force was putting her through, she had done well. She only tripped up a small handful of times, until she leaped over a large fallen trunk. Her feet failed to restore her to an upright position, and she doubled over, rolling several times through the dangerous woodland ground. Aching, she sat with her worn-down body. She now could tell she had several bruises, scrapes, and most likely dislocated her shoulder when she tumbled over and landed on it. The rustling sounds died down around her, but the laughter-like sound only grew louder. She closed her eyes and curled up into a ball, letting the overwhelmingly loud sound of laughter consume her. She felt that at any moment now, some animal, or possibly even human, would pounce on her, ripping her to shreds, but that never happened. The sound of laughter only continued to grow louder, so louder that it became a white noise. She climbed to her knees and opened her eyes. The tease of sight as the sun came up couldn't last forever. The trees around her seemed to curl and bend inwards, slowly swallowing her in their grasp, once again cutting off her connection to the outside world. Suddenly, the world seemed to break around her, like glass. She was left in a negative space, an empty void. All noises were cut off, only the soft breeze of a cold wind could be felt or heard. She no longer felt her body aching, but nonetheless could not move. She looked down to where she thought her hands would be, but could not see even them, or any part of herself. She turned her head forward as she heard a singular strange click. There in the distance something stared back at her. She could only gaze into its silver eyes. There was nothing else to be seen. They loomed, never getting closer, never blinking. Suddenly the first sense of touch she had came back, on her shoulder. A hand with long, bony fingers was resting upon her shoulder, and the laughing suddenly swarmed back. She used every ounce of strength to turn her body. In the blink of an eye, she saw nothing. The laughter stopped, and she lurched forward. Now she could see she was lying in bed. She was sweating quite a bit, and breathing so heavily she choked? Is that chalked, or is it choked? Heavily, she choked on the air for a moment. As the familiar sights of her room came back to her and helped to calm her down, she leaned back into her pillow, staring up at the ceiling. Had it all been a dream? Had her own mind made her a prisoner within it? A soft creak jolted her forward once more. Stop this. Don't check for this issue. Had her own mind made her a prisoner within it? A soft creak jolted her forward once more. The long, black, bony fingers wrapped themselves around the door, opening it slowly from the outside. Then the laughter came. Yeah, there we go. That's the whole thing. That's all, folks. Oh goodness gracious, this is gonna be so good. I don't even care if I do or don't win or anything like that. I'm just glad I got to write the story because it's like one I've had in my head for a long time, and finally being able to actually like write it all out in a good way, even though it has a word limit. Oh, so I'm so happy. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. I know this song just started in the background, but actually, well, it didn't. It started a couple minutes ago. So I'm gonna do the things that everyone says. So, like every single YouTuber you've ever watched has said, if you do like stuff like this, let me know because it does actually let me know. You know, if you say, you know, hey, I like this, you should do this more often, or if you say, you know, if you leave a like, stuff like that, all of that actually really does help and says that you like this. And if this is the first video of mine that you're seeing and you like this, well then why not subscribe, because that will also tell me that you like what I post. I tend to keep kind of what I post and what happens around it as a guideline for what I should be doing. So that stuff like this, if I do this and someone subscribes, then well, someone likes this kind of thing, so I can do this more often. But you know, that's just one of the many things that people, you know, always say. So like one of the YouTuber things. So I'm sorry to have to go through all of that, but it is, you know, needed. Also, if you don't know, I have a Twitter. It's in the description. The description's a little messy because I didn't want to mess with it because it's a long story to have to go through every time. So it has the same thing as it did Wednesday, but it does have my Twitter in the description as well as my Twitch, and I'm pretty sure my Curious Cat. You can leave me questions there. And you can just hang out with me on Twitter because I'm such a good person. I talk a lot about myself, but I talk a lot about you guys too because we're all a community. I love my Froggas, and that's you, so thank you for being here. Also, if you go to my Twitch, you can see stuff that I do like before it becomes a video. Most of the time, like Stardew Valley or, you know, Spider-Man or, you know, stuff like that. But after saying all of those YouTuber things, I have to now actually say goodbye. So you have the power, or you're allowed and expected to invent who you are. You have the power to change. So please keep trying. It matters. And keep fighting because you matter. Until next time, Clayfrog. Have a good night, everybody, and have a good Christmas in just a couple days.